This show is sponsored by William Hill's Final One Standing. It's free to play and there's $500,000 up for grabs. It's the ultimate elimination game.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. Hope you're all good. Hope you're all well. Jordan's finishing up dinner. Lee's still on holiday. James, brother, I see you just got the camera started. You're there.
I hit it well.
I don't know if you hit it well, bro. It's just right in front of me. I'm thinking, what's going on here? Have I interrupted something? Should we have? You're the one that said you're ready to go. So
sorry, it's unacceptable. I've not had dinner yet. I wouldn't do it on Channel 4, so I shouldn't do it here. But that's poor.
Also, Jordan, I think you got the wrong mic plugged in again.
Oh, jeez.
this guy's worried about dinner more than he is quality.
There's no way that's the sound of your mic. I mean, it looks like a proper studio setup.
That's better, isn't it?
That's so much better.
Man.
You're having a mare.
Right,
Lee, this is the man that said, "Come on, I'm waiting for you guys."
It's incredible. It's incredible. He's got. I don't know what he was doing before that. There was crash bang wallop going on as well. Like, you know what I mean?
Sorry.
It's
I've not had dinner yet.
How this guy has got a job, I do not know. I really do.
Nor do I. I'm starting to doubt as well.
Well, when there's books out, people better get that because there's going to be some gems in there, that's for sure. But yeah, big up the Fourever Arsenal crew team. We're all in the building yet again. Jordan, Lee, and James, as always. And obviously, the season is upon us. Friendlies are all out of the way. This won't be the last show we do before the season starts. We will do one a bit closer to the time as well. Fingers crossed something else happens in the transfer window. But we will talk about that big Man United game week 1 fixture at Old Trafford, more so in the next episode. And obviously that's where the predictions will start as well. And, you know, the prediction league, and we'll start seeing a couple stars under James's image real soon. I actually ain't got the design department to get that done yet. I've completely forgot about it. So, yeah, I'll have to put that on my...
There's no rush. There's no rush.
I'm sure there isn't. I'm sure. If you tell me there's no rush, you won't get it all season, mate. I'll be chilling with the same.
It's all right.
Yeah?
We all know. The important thing is that Lee goes to sleep at night knowing I've got 2 stars. That's all that matters.
It's a tough one to take. It's a tough one to take.
Even your camera's zooming in on you for your reaction.
Not happy. My camera's not happy. We're not happy about this. I've got to perform better next season, like, you know. Otherwise, I could be sacked. I'll tell you that now. It's a must-win situation. I'm telling you that.
James, you gotta pick what you're getting now, man. It's been 2 years. You ain't picked nothing. I don't know what you're saving up for, but
No,
it's like he's putting it into a little money bank and saying, "Yeah, roll over." There's no rollovers.
It's all going towards my mortgage. Yeah, thanks, guys.
There's a statute of limitations on this prize, surely, James.
No, look, I'll acknowledge that it's far too late to get the proper match jersey. That's a lot of money I'd be asking you all to fork out in one go. So we'll get 2 replica versions. I'll get the home and the third, and I'll wear them on stream every show.
You can wear them where you want. I couldn't care less. But yeah. Wear them on. No, it's all right.
We're not bitter, are we? Like, really, like, you know what I mean?
Not at all. Do you think I can get 2 stars, like Stitch over the cannon or something?
No, you're pushing it now, James. You're pushing it. You've done all right. You know
Why not? Just a recognition of my
when me and
success.
Turkish won, we was never like that, was we? You just got on with it, didn't we?
On to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Lee. You're right. Lee Judges has never been insufferable. You're right.
Turkish works. Turkish every week's reminding us, third 3-peat incoming, 3-peat incoming. Talking about Lee.
You need to get your stars up, mate, because the focus is on you this year. You're the one with that. But
you know what it is, Turkish? A little bit like in real life, in the Premier League real life, the people that get success normally equates to the expenditure of money and income. Now, as the person on the least amount of money on this podcast, it reflects that, you know, I obviously have the least amount of success because I get paid the least. So I'm just saying.
One week Lee gets paid the least. The next week you're getting paid the least. James don't know what's going on, and I'm just wondering where the balance sheets are, so I can have a check for myself as well because I'm interested. But let me know if it's leaked, if there's been a data leak over here. But
This is when we find out Ryan's actually paid the most.
He knows he's got a rise, so now he's got to perform money with this rise. You know what I mean? Like otherwise, I think he could be sacked. Simple as that. No, him up there.
Oh, me?
You.
Yeah, but a couple of ideas. New contract and same performances.
He got a new contract. He went to see Robbie personally.
Me, I'm on a new contract and still the least paid of the four of us.
Again, forward me these balance sheets, please. I've got you lot have my email, man. Let me see what's going on around here.
Also, we're all getting played. Look how we're all scrapping each other. Lee's been told Jordan's on the most. Jordan's been told he's on the least.
Me and you are none the wiser. I'm thinking, all right.
Yeah, fully.
Let me find out so we can have some conversations.
He turned around the other week and said, "I've seen Robbie and I'm very happy." That's what he said.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. All right.
I can't wait. Give it a couple of weeks. Welcome back to Forever Arsenal. Turkish Jordan, James and Kenya. I'm really excited to get into it all.
The world just keeps moving. What can you do? But we have got a few. I mean, we've gone.
Sorry, I was just saying, I was looking at the chat today and it said, we're going to do it at 10 o'clock, which was about 1 a.m. I said, on the money I'm betting, I'm not coming in at 1 a.m. I said, just totally not having it.
That's time and a half.
He's pulled an Isak. That's what he's done.
Absolutely. I said, there's no way I'm doing it at 1 a.m. No way.
Training alone in Dubai. He's enjoying his life. But yeah, big up the community as always, man. Hit the like button. Surely you've done that by now. We're just over 5-6 minutes in, actually. We're doing this. Obviously, the predictions, as always, you're used to that. Jordan suggested Fantasy Premier League. We're going to get that one started as well with the community. We'll do our own as well between the four of us, but the league, we'll put the pin in the description below so you can join the Forever Arsenal League and let's arrange a little prize for the winner of that as well over the season. We'll talk amongst ourselves. And yeah, we've also got the William Hill final one standing. Obviously, we're not going to pick our teams now, but we've got a next show coming up before the Premier League starts. Reminder, get your picks in before Liverpool kick off the Premier League season against Bournemouth Friday night. You have to get your pick in before that to win the 500k prize. Remember, it's a free-to-play game as well, people. There's a link in the description, QR code on the screen. If you want a chance to win 500k for free, sign up and then, go pick a team week in, week out. We're going to do the same over here. That's another thing we're going to really be competing on, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think.
Can I say, sometimes these games kind of do the rounds, but this is a great one. I've played it with my mum and my brother have been involved over I'm talking for 7-8 years. They're great fun, this kind of type of game. I have a lot of fun with it, and because you've got to pick the winner and you're looking ahead at different fixtures, you do get very strategic about it. And also adds another layer, because I don't know about you guys, but because I so intensely follow Arsenal, sometimes I can detach myself from the Premier League a little bit, just sort of like the other games. And it kind of keeps you in it a little bit. So I'm really excited for it. Actually, it's going to be really good fun.
Be prepared. Next show, people. And I'm talking to you, man. We have to pick a team.
Yeah, I was going to, James, you played it a little bit more than so. I think you've got to avoid the Liverpool game, haven't you, really? Because he could be out before we're even in, So, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying?
First game week of the season is a difficult one.
Yeah, would you go down and let Liverpool game first, or would you avoid that one first and go for a? Do you know what I mean? If you'd say
my experience is
Bournemouth.
You're out.
My experience is just get to the next round. Go for just the most each time, and you might be 5 game weeks in and going, okay, I've used some of my best teams. I don't know what to do, but I just think get as far as you can. Just keep getting on to the next week is my advice. Because you can go, well, okay, I'm 3 weeks in and I haven't used City or Liverpool. That's great. But, it's the Premier League, man. Look at the shock results all the time. That's just how I play it, personally.
Oh, so I might have to go Liverpool straight away then.
Who is it? Bournemouth at home they've got. Who is it?
Bournemouth, yeah.
Yeah, it's a banker, really.
Yeah, man. No one going for Arsenal, no?
Not Man United. That's the difficult. I think you're going to avoid Man United and Arsenal. I would imagine. I think the one of the favourite, dare I say it, Tottenham at home to Burnley's got to be a.
Yeah.
I think that's a banker. If I'll be honest,
Actually, Thomas Frank, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest banker of all, really. Like, you know,
Nah,
mind you, they
I
might have
agree.
just come back from, you know, being either winning the Super Cup or getting smashed in it. So, you know, they play on that Wednesday, don't they? And then they've got a game Saturday. So it might take a little bit out of them. So it might be not worth going down that route.
all right. Well, listen, people, all the links to anything, we're taking part and will be in the description. The Fantasy Premier League one will come in Wednesday, Thursday's episode just before the season starts. So look out for that one because I do get a lot of messages about that. But yeah. Let's move because we've got a couple of games to talk about. And I mean, I say that loosely because I'd rather forget the Villarreal game than bring it back to talk about and you'd focus more on the Bilbao game where I think there were quite a few talking points, quite a few players deserving of praise, quite a few interesting points to take from the game in general. But how do you? I can tell Lee and James already, want to move on from Villarreal. But Jordan, you might want to.
No, not me. No. that in some ways was the more interesting one because, oh, by the way, just to let the community know that Big Turkish up there doing up corporate at the Emirates with the little man. Well, I was there working.
Yeah,
Sweating
of
my
course
nuts
you was.
off.
Of course
I
you
was
was.
sweating. You saw me sweating, carrying kit, doing content for my company.
In the red
But
leather
Turkish,
seats.
man of the people, doing up corporate. I'm not even mad at it. I'm just saying it was good to see you up there. The rise is a lot. I rate it. The Villarreal game. I think for everything that was concerning about the Villarreal game was encouraging in the Athletic Bilbao game, right? So I think they kind of counted each other out. We haven't got to spend too long on the Villarreal game, but I was there for that one, so I watched it as I mentioned. And I never get too caught up in results in preseason, right? I know some people think that winning habit is important, results are important in preseason. I just don't. Preseason fundamentally is for two things: it's fitness and sharpness, and it's to experiment to ascertain what you plan to do come the season ahead, right? As long as you're not losing 5-0 every single game, I don't care about the results. So win, lose, the results from the get-go, I don't care about the results. I look at the performances. I look at what is Arteta trying to do this season. What are the combinations he's trying to pair up? What are the things he's trying to do that make me understand what it is he wants to do this coming season? What didn't work, and go from there. And there were plenty of things that didn't work, and it's also hard because you're chopping and changing 11s and 5s and 6 at one time. So it's hard to kind of get the momentum or any kind of chemistry. So I get that. But the thing that was most concerning for me was the thing that I think we saw. 10 games plus during last season, which is defensively, we still are so vulnerable to open attacks and give away cheap goals. One thing that frustrates me so much about our play is that we seem to have to work so hard to score a goal, but yet other teams can be dominated for half an hour by Arsenal, have their first attack, 1-0, 1-1. It's like, whoa, we've just been peppering this team for 25 minutes. They do one thing and score. And if that's one off, fine. Even twice, that can happen. But it didn't happen once or twice last year, guys. It happened plenty of times.
You know, when you say pepper, sorry to cut you there, but I think peppering is the wrong word because I think that's why that happened.
Yeah,
because we run the game basically, but we don't
Dominate's
pepper
better
them.
word. Dominate.
Dominate them, but don't pepper them.
Yeah, you're right.
The fear factor is gone by, let's say, 70 minutes or 60 minutes, or even 30 minutes sometimes last season. And then the team feels more threat going the other way. And then that clinical side. And you are right. It's happened far too often over the last 12.
I didn't like it. Villarreal are not even a good team. And them to score 3 goals. Again, the result, I don't care the loss. But they scored 3 goals at the Emirates. That even with an experimental team, that shouldn't be happening. That just shouldn't be happening. You've got your first choice keeper in goal. You've got Saliba in defence. I think Ben White started that game at right back. And I think Lewis Skelly at left back. You've got pretty much your first choice defence. I just didn't think it was acceptable. And that for me was concerning because it happened way too many times last season. So I guess my takeaway from that game, the main takeaway was we still have to work. We have to play perfectly. We have to make the perfect attack. Saka's got to do magic for us to score a goal. Why can't we just work a system that brings quantity of goals without us having to be perfect. Liverpool, Man City don't always have to be perfect to score a goal. We have to be perfect, work really hard to score a goal against a mid-table, well, I know they were Champions League, but an average Spanish team. That was concerning. And on the other hand, we're dominating, as Turkish, you're rightfully, we're dominating games, and then bang, one chance, oh, it's a goal. That can't happen. That can't happen. So that was my main takeaway from that particular game. I know you guys don't want to spend too much time on that particular game. I've got some thoughts.
I'd like to jump in on this bit because
you're not going to want to hear.
I was thinking, do I really care about the results in the sense that when we lost to Villarreal,
that was my takeaway from that particular
whatsoever.
Game.
But I sort of thought, what do I really look for? And I realised one of the frustrations I had, and I was talking about it with, Ben Mattinson. I don't know if you follow him on Twitter, but I was chatting with him about it. We were saying, I can kind of stomach the results if the football's there. But what was really worrying for me was that I didn't really understand what Arteta was trying in pre-season. So a lot of people were saying to me like, yeah, but don't you think he's trying new things? And I was like, what are they? So like Villarreal, Gyökeres is a striker that needs service. And we gave a midfield of Waneri, Norgard, and Marino. Like we didn't have Ødegaard and Zubimendi, our more creative players, and we didn't give him Rice, our £105 million midfielder, to run beyond him. We sort of, do you know what I mean? Like I didn't really get the combinations. Then I look at some of the changes we made. Throughout preseason, I'm including Tor, and I'm thinking, I'm not really sure why, Zubimendi and Rice didn't get barely any minutes on Tor, and it was like things like that I didn't really understand, as in minutes together. Anyway, all this to say, I want to give Arteta major credit for Bilbao. I love the 11 he went with. I love that he went with Timber, Gabriel, and Calafiori coming into the back four. I love the way he tweaked Rice to play nearer Zubimendi in that game. Calafiori was bombing up and down. Saka and Martinelli were a bit closer. And suddenly the players, Ødegaard included, I want to give him a lot of credit, were attempting, not always executing, but attempting so many more passes into the channels for Gyökeres to run into. And we looked like a team that could go from back to front a lot quicker, not just because we were launching it from goal kicks, but because we were actually, with a purpose, and you saw it with the Kai Havertz goal as well, hitting the ball into space for actual athletic runners in Gyökeres, and dare I say Kai Havertz for that third goal, to actually get on the end of. And I thought we looked a lot more dangerous. And Arteta, in the way he, tactically tweaked things, but B, the 11, the combinations he went with, and then C, for the changes he made. I love that he went Timber left back for the second half with Madueke on the left, because what he did, he got a left footer in the left wing. He got Timber at left back, which I think he might do for United, up against Mbemo and Ahmad. I think that would make sense. And he tried Madueke in that role, and he just tweaked the dynamics a little bit. And I like that. I got what he was trying. And I think for a lot of preseason, I didn't really understand what he was looking to find out with certain combinations. Like Norgard playing a lot of minutes, though I thought he actually looked really good against Villarreal, may I say. But in this game, Bilbao, I thought Arteta got everything right. And I saw everything I wanted to see. And I thought we looked so much better. And this wasn't a game where Arsenal scored like 10 minutes in. And so, they let go of the handbrake. It was actually took to the 34th minute to get the first goal, but the football was there the whole way through up until that first goal. So I was really happy with what we saw against Bilbao. Genuinely, I thought it was much better from the manager, the subs, the players, everything. I thought it was really good. Yeah, it did feel refreshing. I agree with you completely.
It felt refreshing.
Yeah. Gives you confidence. Gives you a bit of confidence going into the Man United game, because I had none going after that Villarreal game. And people go, well, you ain't playing so and so and so. Well, what? Hold on a minute. There are times next season I would like, cup size or whatever. It could be Norgard, Marino, and Waneri in there, and for them not to create a thing was a massive worry for me. Like against an ordinary side, the front three is probably the front three that's going to start the majority of the games at this moment in time. Were starved of any sort of service whatsoever. So listen, I went to bed that day going like, this is, there's problems at Arsenal. I was really, really worried. All of a sudden, I watched the game, and I weren't really looking forward to it, if I'll be honest. It was like, slap banging and been at dinner time here. I'm thinking like, I ain't really up for this game, but I have to watch it. And started watching it. Thoroughly enjoyed it for the first time in a long while. Actually enjoyed the performance. Of their front three. Saka straight away looked sharp, looked good. Gyökeres looked very, very good. Martinelli creating, and all of a sudden going at players, attacking them, going down the flanks, having shots. I thought, hold on a minute, I'm seeing something different here. You're dead right what you're saying there, James. The midfield balance was definitely much better. Rice playing a little bit tighter to Zubimendi, who was outstanding, by the way. You know, the back four never give them a chance. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that was a big thing for me, like, you know. And as you say, like, when Timber went over to left back, they still didn't give a chance, like, you know. So, and there was some good things coming up. The other good thing for it is, boys, as well, you know, when Havertz got his goal, break, you know, like, all right, let's sit back, like, suck the opposition in and then hit them on the break like that with a counter-attacking goal, which we're going to have to play at times against the Man Uniteds or the Liverpools. And I'm thinking, whoa, hold on a minute, even that looked good. One ball over the top, powered through and goal. So there was so many more pluses from it, like, you know. But ultimately, you know, when you've got your best team out, you're going to get performances. But there are times when they're not going to be about, boys, and we've got to perform a lot better than what we do on the
You're
backup.
not fickle,
But
Lee.
listen,
Like,
I'm now going to the
you
game
watched another
against Man
90 minutes
United.
of football and you
Call
saw
me
something
fickle, call me
different.
whatever you want, with a lot
You
more
know,
confidence
and this
than
is
what
what
I had
annoys me.
3 or 4
I
days
did
before.
I did a match reaction very late because last night I couldn't watch the game. I actually had to watch the game this morning, and I did a match reaction on the Gooniverse. And a lot of people were saying, "Oh, you know, you were panicking, or maybe Arteta was always planning this." And I'm thinking, what the plan was to not look good for 4 games. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, you know, no, Arsenal just improved. You know, we saw the games before; they didn't look very good. We assumed they were going to train
Yeah,
more,
ridiculous.
and they look better. That's it. You know, just because we have opinion post Tottenham in Hong Kong doesn't mean we think that's going to be how Arsenal are for the entire season. But it is concerning when there are repetitive patterns from the 2 years before, or at least the year before. Arsenal looked a lot better. They were trying different things. Odegaard was floating a little bit more. Rice was closer to Mendy. Guess what? Everything that we've all asked for. So, you know, maybe actually the things that the fans were complaining about, there was some weight to it. Arsenal tweaked things and looked so much better. But also we acknowledge that they have to get used to Gyökeres. Now, I love that goal because Zubimendi, first time, barely looked up, just whips into an area. And by the way, that's a great goal. So like I said, I was at a party and I just saw Gyökeres score. And great. Gyökeres will get a lot of poachers goals. You know, a lot of like, I'm in the right area, a cut back, I've tapped it in. That wasn't just a right place, right time. That was a great header. That's a real striker's, you know, I don't think, because I've been debating with people whether it's a great cross from Zubimendi. I don't think it is a great cross. I think it's a good cross. He's put it into an area. I think Gyökeres has to do a lot of work to redirect that with actual power beyond the keeper. And I'm so happy for him that he got that level of goal, a proper striker's, you know, the reason you sign a finisher is for that kind of goal. And I'm so glad he gave us that. And I'm also happy that Kai Havertz scored that goal. I mean, where'd that come from? So yeah, it was just a level up on everything. And we're here praising it.
Everything looked good against Bilbao. From defense, you know, nullifying them early on. They had nothing after the first 15 minutes, really. Not that they had much in the first 15. Zubimendi was star of the show, though, I think. That midfield performance. Listen, I know it's only pre-season and, you know, we need that. We expect that come game week 1 and moving forward. We signed an experienced player there, but if that's what he's bringing, the way he can speed it up, slow it down, he's comfortable closer to the final third. He's comfortable in front of the defense. Him and Rice worked perfectly together, because I was with James across pre-season saying they ain't played enough together. What, 50 minutes in total across 4 games? Then they come and do that, and you know, if we see that sort of partnership in the sense that when one's forward, one's protecting a bit more, because you know, I think previously Rice, some of his strengths in the 6 were nullified a bit because he was always asked to do the 8. Whereas what I saw yesterday against Bilbao, it was more they was the pivot. You know, Rice was still the predominant box-to-box player, but when Zubimendi would take up the position like he did for Gyökeres' goal, you'd see Rice protecting a bit more, even though that even came from a corner initially. And that's why Gyökeres' goal, in my opinion, was quality, because the first cross came in, he makes a run, it doesn't work out, reset straight away. And because it was an early cross, that catches defenders out, it can catch attackers out as well. So I'm glad he got his goal, headed goal. to be honest, he could have had a hat trick. The first one, I feel like he should have scored when Saka cut it back, and Saka was a menace throughout that game. Like Saka, he was
brilliant.
From the first 5 minutes to the end of the match. I think did he play the full 90 as well? But Gyökeres' all-round performance, the header in the second half, the link-up play as well. Because when it was June and everyone was talking about, Sesko or Gyökeres or Sesko, his link-up play was often doubted. Now, I'm not the biggest knower of Gyökeres and Portuguese football, but it was nice to see him drop in a lot more, wanting the ball. It helped Odegaard, I think, because with Zubimendi closer to Odegaard, Gyökeres dropping in closer, some of the passing sequences, like for Saka's goal, Gabriel wins a header, 3 passes later, we're through on goal. For Havertz's goal, a header comes out or clearance, Saka one ball over the top. And I think that's overlooked. Saka's assist for Havertz's goal was beautiful. The perfect ball over the top. And Havertz's goal, when you look at it in terms of the Havertz perspective, great touch, speed, pace. He invaded space and he made use of it. Do you get what I'm saying? The touch was beautiful. The second touch, third touch held the defender off. Beautiful low finish. And, coming off the bench to do that, it's nice to see. But even in general, we don't have many, man running in behind one-on-one in games across the last 2 years because we are so slow and lethargic at times on the pitch. So that to me was the best thing about it. Zubimendi being the star of the show because I feel like he sped things up a hell of a lot. And the fact that we score a couple goals and we make a couple opportunities from nice but swift passing sequences, no dilly-dallying, just getting the ball where it needs to go, and the player's hungry to get on the end of it. So all in all, and I think Madueke's cameo. Listen, we are starved of cameos and appearances and performances on that left-hand side. But Madueke's cameo, I looked at, and maybe it's because he's a fresh face and a new body. I'm thinking, all right, I feel a bit more excited when he's on the board than I have done Martinelli for a little while. Probably just because it is new, but at least in the second half, he was very direct. He's more of a left back for us, the way he tugs the touchdown. But anytime he got the ball, if he was in a 1-on-1, he would attack. If it was 2-on-1, he would reset, and rightly so. And there was a couple flicks there. The Gyökeres header in the second half, that was a good enough cross. So I think even Madueke's cameo against Bilbao, I think all in, everything was a positive. Nice to see Gabriel and Saliba starting. Timber just bossing it as usual. Raya didn't do anything wrong. So all in all, from top to bottom, I think great performance.
The great thing is, Turkish, one of the greatest things about it, which people are, that cross for Gyökeres will then, all of a sudden, defenders were thinking, right, it's gone out right, it's going to go to Saka, it's going to go here, it's going to go there. They was not set for that. They was thinking, it's not going to come in. All of a sudden now, defenders are going to think, right, they might set for that, right? And that will leave Saka a little bit more space to just nip in as well. So I think that cross and that finish will make other teams think, can we defend like that now? You know where Arsenal are going to defend. You know where they're going to be.
John's putting face that suggests he's not as blown away by his performance.
All he's whipped in across, bang.
Yeah,
such a big thing there.
No, fair. Well, I'm curious to your take, but I'll just say one last thing. I also really like Madueke's cameo. It was a cameo. He played the whole half.
I'm listening. I'm just listening to my brothers, man. I'm listening.
Yeah, I thought he looked really good, guys. Look, it was more just like. It was more that everything he tried came off, whether it was the back heel, the pass down the line to Gyökeres, the cross into the box, the Gyökeres hit onto the post. But what I also liked was it can be awkward for when you're a winger on your strong foot. So he's a left footer on the left wing. Driving on the inside could be quite difficult, but actually he did that, and actually there was some good combos, and actually was causing some chaos with that. He's definitely more. I want to use the word rangy than our other wingers, and I hope you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean? There's a little bit more kind of his stride. He seems to cover more ground quicker, and he seems to be a little bit more like chaotic in a good way, by the way. And I love that. I think Saka's looked really good in this game, and I actually think he's looked better in preseason than people give him credit for. But I really like what Madueke gave us on that left, especially when Gyökeres is going to need to feed off some of that service. So yeah, I'm glad you pointed him out, because you're right. There's something fresh and exciting about what he can give us on the left, and that's why I like the Eze links, because they're different. They'll just give you different problems from that left. And if you are going to have Calafiori galloping up and down the left, then Eze would actually really suit the areas that Martinelli was playing more in, like a little bit more tucked in central. This is good. We just need options. We just need Arsenal to have different ways to attack teams. And we've done quite a bit of work this window to do that. Now just get that one or two more, and I think we'll be in a really good position.
100%. Yeah, I'm glad you said it, because I was, even amongst being happy about the performance, much more so than the previous preseason games, there's still a couple pieces we need, because we know we're good when we've got a strong 11. We know we're a very strong team that's going to win the majority of games or take something at the very least, even in a poor season last season, many draws, but they weren't losses. We managed to get something out of it with a depleted side at times. So a strong 11, we are confident enough. But I think, especially last season and a bit the season before, what let us down is a lack of, options in the attacking third. So Eze's still a must for me, and so's a Rodrigo in my opinion. But that's a real dream now. If it wasn't a real dream a month or so ago, Jordan, you've been quietly waiting. I mean,
yeah. Okay, so this is a preview pod, right, to the season. So we're Arsenal fans. People are watching and listening to this, and I think it's always important, especially at this point of the season, to be fair and to be positive where possible, right? New season's coming in. Let's be optimistic. Let's not. I know people think my default is to be negative, but it's not. I'm just honest, right? But I don't want to piss on the chips of the optimism that you guys are explaining. I thought the game was very, very good yesterday, whenever it was, and I think there were lots of positives to come from it, and I liked what I saw. But if I just talk about Gyökeres for a second, and then maybe I'll kind of save my thoughts on the general team for the next pod. I think Gyökeres is a really good centre forward. I think he's a very good centre forward, and I think he'll score goals. I'm still on the fence about how well, whether he's a difference maker. So I think it's one thing being a very good striker. I'm not sure he'll be the difference this season. The difference being, does he score the goals or win us a title this season? If we're all agreeing the mission is win a title, does Gyökeres, does he win us that title? I'm not sure. Let me tell you why. A couple of things. That goal he scored against Athletic Club, that's a brilliant header, as you've both said. That's a really, really good header. Great cross, great instincts, really good execution. I can see Havertz scoring that goal. That's the sort of goal that I think we can score at the moment. The kind of goals that we don't score are the goals where I think you alluded to a second ago, James. It's the predator type goals. It's the tap in, right place, right time. It's the instinctive finishes in and around the box rather than hold it up and lay it off, turn, spin and shoot. It's the Ian Wright type finishes. They're the finishes that I think we need, which I think in the tight games, and there'll be plenty of tight games this season, they're the games where we need someone that can just take a half chance, turn, swivel, bang, bottom corner, goal. I'm not saying he hasn't got that in his locker. I've just not seen it yet. So while I think it's right to praise him for the brilliant header that he got, I don't think we need that type of goal. I think we score that kind of goal. I think Havertz can score that type of goal. Cross the first man, flashing header,
sorry, John.
bang, back of the
I hear
net.
you actually.
I
don't. The only bit I don't quite agree with. I'm not sure Havertz scores that kind of header. I know what you mean though. But yeah, you're right. It's more, can he, with little space, take a touch, shimmy around a player, and smash it in the roof of the net? That I get what you're saying. Like in a tight game, there's not a lot of space. Can you make that magic happen? So it's a good point. I hear you. And also, Gyökeres' performance wasn't perfect. There were some sloppy passes. He dribbled the ball off the pitch. He's a bit of a battering ram, but I love that. I love it. He's different. Yeah.
But here's the thing, James, and you've teed up my second point perfectly there. We as Arsenal fans are going to have to be really, really patient with Gyökeres in terms of his output successfully. What I mean by that is, I don't think we want Gyökeres getting involved in the play.
Stylistically.
I don't think we want him on the ball. I think Gyökeres is more akin to Haaland than he is Isak. I think Gyökeres is the sort of guy, if we don't see him in action for 15, 20 minutes, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. I think some people want to see Gyökeres on the ball, spinning man, getting past man. I don't know if that's his game. You can power your way through players in the Portuguese league because he is powerful. Bro, that ain't going to work in this league. What will work in this league is you pick your moments and you pick your positions where you can really be devastating. So I think in the same way a lot of people give Haaland heat for not touching the ball for half a game, but he still scores 2 goals and win the game 4-1. I think that's the sort of player we have to expect from him. I'm almost more concerned if he is involved in play. I don't think we want to. I don't think he can. Well, he can, but I don't think he needs to be doing the pulling wide, skipping past a couple of players, laying the ball up. I don't think we need that from Gyökeres. I think we need him on the shoulder, looking for those pockets, basically saying to the likes of Nwaneri, Odegaard, even Saka, go on then, there's a little pocket there. Put it in there. Put it in there. Put it in there. Spin, bang, goal. Back to the halfway line. I don't really want him coming deep and getting involved in, but I don't think we need that. And I saw a lot of that in the game. I saw a lot of him getting involved. And I was like, bro, we don't need that. I think the best thing for him to do is to find those pockets on the shoulder of the defenders. There'll be so many games this year where teams will defend deep. The last thing we need you doing is coming deep. Coming high for the ball. We need you pushing them back, occupying 2 defenders and creating little pockets. We've got the guys that can find the holes. Zubimendi will find you. Odegaard will find you. Saka will find you. Just occupy 2 defenders and spin, score. So I think we've got to be patient with him in that there'll be games he doesn't do a lot. But that's okay. That's okay. That's not what we don't need you to do a lot. We need you to not be Havertz and invading spaces. We don't need you flicking the ball on. We don't need you control. We need you to be in the pockets. That's what we need. The third thing is, and final thing that was concerning for me was I wonder if, going back to the power thing, if him just being really strong and a battering ram, I wonder how sustainable that is. And in this league, where there's very intelligent coaches, managers, and defenders, if that will get sussed out quite quickly. I wonder if he needs to find a different dimension to his game to really have long-term success. I think the first couple of months, his power will be they can't deal with it. I'm just concerned that come February, March, April, when the season's in its nitty-gritty, what else have you got? What else have you got apart from being able to outpower people? What else is in your locker?
I believe he has. I believe he's got what you're looking for. I just think it'll take a bit of time to see it.
I hope so.
Because as much as you say the link-up play outside is not ideal for him, I agree with that. But he still had 3 chances in and around the penalty spot. The one he scored, the header he hit the post with, and the one he should have scored in the first half. And it's been a long time since we could say we've had a striker that's, been in and around and had chances within that area all in one game. That's pre-season, and, we need to see that against United. But I like the attributes he possesses because it's what we haven't had. It's very different. And I think that he's got them top corner bender finishes in him. He's got that yard of space shimmy in him. Like, I think we will see that. And I think that's what you're talking about in terms of, all right, when the going gets tough, what else have you got? I agree with you in terms of he's more the Haaland profile of striker than he is the Isak profile. Definitely, for sure. That I think, that's a fact. But I also think that he's got a little something in him where he can run with the ball if given space to run with the ball. That Havertz goal, for example, I'd expect that more from a Gyökeres, and I would have expected Gyökeres' goal more from a Havertz. But we've got both types of goals.
Yeah,
and the opposite striker got it.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm all right with it. I'm with I can't wait till he just rasps one into the back of the net, and I hope it's at Old Trafford. And when he just when you just get that full connection behind it, it smacks the back of the net. The celebrations are, and that's where, in my opinion, his Arsenal career kickstarts. And if it happens against United,
I hear what
I've
you're
seen
saying,
enough from
Jordan. I just think
to be
Arteta will always ask
still
him
quietly
ultimately
excited
to
about him,
drop in
like I
and
was
to
with
play a bigger
the
part in
links in the
build-up.
first place.
I think it's just for us as fans not to expect it to be perfect, but to acknowledge what he does really well on the other side of the game, like take that chance he got. I mean, there was a brilliant bit of play where he pulls into the left channel a lot, which I really like, because I don't think our striker's been doing that for a few years. And he just dropped a shoulder, sent a defender flying, and rolled it in for Calafiori. I mean, that's great. That's great, like all round centre forward play, isn't it? Running the channels, take a defender out, create a chance.
I don't. But whilst you're correct, that won't win us a league, because that sort of play, those goals, that bit of play doesn't make the difference in the games that really matter. That it looks great and it was successful against Villarreal. I just don't want him. I think our problem is because I was with my colleague today at work and we were saying he's not really an Arsenal striker. I don't know if you saw the Community Shield earlier on. There was a I won't say Henri regen, but there was a very Arsenal striker in that Liverpool front three today. Do you know what I mean? Gyökeres is not an Arsenal type striker. We've not really had that sort of player. He's a very good player, but he's not. He's not an Arsenal type striker. I need him to be, like I said, a little bit more Ian Wright, a little bit less Robin
But you
van
know,
Persie.
Jordan, I like it.
So that kind of pulling to the side.
It's like we've been quite a physical team for a few years now, and I've wanted more tech on this side, a little bit more technical quality on the ball. But also, if you're going to go down the physical route, own it. You know what I mean? It's like we'll get the biggest, most powerful, brute up front. And I know he's more than that. But
I don't know. But sorry, but I don't think being the big powerful forward makes.
But don't you think they've had that?
Pulling
don't
wide.
you think Sacco Martinelli? There was a little bit this against Villarreal, but against Bilbao, don't you think they looked like they were getting more runs in behind? Like there was a little bit more space for them because suddenly defenders are a little bit more worried about Gyökeres. Now, look, you can overanalyze all this because Bilbao got battered by Man United last year, who were terrible. So let's, Bilbao. I don't think it was a great test, or nor did it prove a lot. But we wanted to see things in the style of football. And I saw with that second goal, the ball goes into Gyökeres, he touches it into Ødegaard, the ball's in behind, Martinelli to Saka, and we're in. They were getting a little bit more central, and I felt that they were benefiting off Gyökeres being, taking some kind of attention from defenders. And I think you can look into it all too much in one game, but I think there are encouraging signs there that those around Gyökeres. Ødegaard definitely benefited from Gyökeres in that game. I'm convinced of it. There was more space. There were runs. He was able to pick. And even when he got it wrong, I just love that he was trying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And you need that wall pass. You need that wall pass as a midfield player. You need it. I don't care what anybody says. You know what I mean? When you know you can put it into him, you're going to get it back, and you can then, create from there. So I think you're right, James. I think it gives Ødegaard a little bit more space, and this is all on the back of Gyökeres not 100% fit at the moment. I don't care what anybody says. He's 80% up now. I think another week. I don't even think when he goes to Man United he's going to be like 100. But I'm encouraged by it, and listen, I still go to that first goal, the whack across in, he's on the end of it. I haven't seen Arsenal do that for so long. Even when Havertz was there, they'd work it into a different position before that cross come in. It was like, look, put it in an area and we'll get a goal from it. Like, when do we ever put things into an area and score? It has to be precise and all that. For the first time, as you said, James, which is a great point. You didn't even think it was a great cross. It doesn't have to be. That's the point now. We haven't got to be perfect. Put it into areas and we can get goals. So I think, we just got to see how it pans out. But listen, we've was it 3-4 years now? We haven't played. When was the last time we watched Arsenal with a centre forward? Probably Giroud. Probably was the last time I don't. I don't think that Aubameyang was really a proper centre forward, was he? Like maybe Lacazette, maybe, but like a proper number 9, a proper centre forward. I haven't seen it definitely for the last 2 years. So it's refreshing as far as I'm concerned.
I just want to add. I know somebody mentioned the goal earlier on, the Havertz goal, but we should double down on praising that goal. That is a brilliant goal. If Isak scores that, if anyone else in the league scores that goal, we're like, yeah, that is a brilliant goal. The pass from Saka, first of all, to send him on his bike, it's a brilliant pass over the top. But the pace, the power, because I'll be real, as he's gone through, I'm thinking, right, hold it up, wait for support, let's keep it going.
I'm thinking he's going to
Went for
collapse
it, and
any
it's
minute.
Yeah, I was like, bro, don't just know your lane. The finish is clean. The finish is clean.
Everything was
boys.
clean. Everything was clean.
Let's give him credit for that. That is a really good goal. That's a brilliant goal. So big up Havertz. You can see how he benefits with Gyökeres now coming in. I personally think Havertz starts at Old Trafford. I know that's not a popular, but I think he will start.
I think he does as well, Jordan.
Yeah.
That's my. I think he's going to. You're probably going to see him more as that left-sided player. I think. Like,
I still think the finish was cold. Everything was clean, but I still think his profile suits someone to come on and make an impact than it does to start a game. Like I get what you lot are saying, and I think that there's a strong chance he does start it. But listen, disappointed isn't the word, because if we beat them with Marino up top, I couldn't care less really who starts up top. But after seeing Gyökeres start the last couple, he get his goal now.
And
I'd
Havertz
expect
tears
him to
past
start
three
the
players.
first game of the
Where did that
season.
come
I'm
from?
honest with you.
These are the metrics, Turkish. You're wondering, what are these metrics he's breaking? There you go. He said, I'll show you. He shook your hand and said, don't worry, Turkish. You will see. You will see the metrics.
We're finding out. We're finding out.
But you know what it is, guys? We've been calling for a bit of purpose, a forward pass into space, a man sprinting,
space at that.
And he struck it well, mid-stride, holding a defender off. It's really good. People think we just hate on players that we don't rate. We don't. We will give praise. And he took that brilliantly. Yeah.
That's why I want to double down on it. That's why I wanted to kind of repeat the point, because I think it's important that we kill him when he's crap, but we lift him up when he's great.
Sure.
And maybe we'll get into it on the next pod, but I still look at Liverpool's firepower options, and I still see more goals in their front line than ours.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just today, I know you're saying, James, you're not quite convinced that the balance is correct in that team, and maybe you're right in midfield for sure. But Wirtz, bruv, Ekitike, these guys look confident on the ball. They look like the tech level for Liverpool and Man City has gone up, whereas ours has gone down. But I think what's gone up for us is our more directness. I think we're going to be much more direct, much more powerful, much more, hopefully, faster in our play.
Yeah.
which is a good thing as well. But the tech in that Liverpool front line is wild. If they click and they get Isak in there as well, it could be long. It could be really long.
But I also think with Havertz coming on, if he is coming off the bench with 20 minutes to go, you know, that all of a sudden, like, you know, what did we have last season? If it was Havertz coming off, we didn't have no one. Now we've got like someone that not only can finish like that, he can just hold the ball up and give us something different as well. Like, so I think, like, if he is going to be a substitute player, I think he's going to be an important one for us as well. Like, you know, so. Listen, you know what I mean? I think it's good that we got two there, like, you know, and it gives us so many more little, you know, options in there, like, you know. You can actually go with two up top now. I know this says if we're having to chase a game, putting both of them on up there, like, you know, one dropping off, which you don't, you saying, Jordan, you don't want Gyökeres to do. Well, Havertz could do that, and then he could be on the end of things. So I do think there's a couple of options now that we've got. I just think we're going to just be a little bit more certain different things. It's not going to be like regimental in here and there. I think there's a little bit more, going to be a little bit more cunning to us up front now, like, you know, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to ask.
Boom! Now we're talking about a player I'm excited by.
Neat.
Sorry, just got my dinner there. Now we're talking. Him. I'm excited by. I love players that control games and can ball. I love those sort of players.
He's a baller.
Oh man, if we get this right with him,
bro,
it's nice. It's
brilliant
nice.
player.
Love him.
He pops up
Brilliant,
everywhere.
But the ingredients to get it right, man. I think the pivot makes most sense. Like,
yeah, complementing each other.
Yeah, and Odegaard looked for it. Odegaard looked a lot better for it. He was finding himself, you know, in Declan Rice's usual position at times in terms of that, you know, left-hand side of the third a lot more than I've seen him in other games combined, probably. So, when you've got that pivot behind you and you've got more space in front, hopefully there was a lot of unlocking going on against Bilbao. I don't know. I'm putting the keys with Zubamendi for that, but there was a lot of different facets to it. I think Gyökeres was one of them that helped. I think he helped Odegaard. He helped Martinelli in the first half too. But yeah, Zubamendi. Yeah, if he can hit the ground running in the league, then we're in a very. If we get the Zubamendi Rice performance we got against Bilbao against United, we win that game.
Yeah, I agree. And I've been thinking about Rice's position as well the last couple of weeks, actually. And I've kind of, me, I've always said that I think Rice is better in the 6 holding. Last year, I was kind of convinced that maybe the 8, there's box runs into the box, there's goals from Rice. But I've gone back now to thinking, I think if you put Declan Rice in the 6 as a holding 6 rather than a playmaker 6, and then let Zubamendi pick up the ball and allow Odegaard to push up the field 15 yards further, say, no, Martin, don't worry. You haven't got to come for the ball. I'll get the ball to you. What you do there is you reunite the Holy Trinity from 2 years ago. Saliba, Gabriel, and Declan Rice. That's the triangle I want to see. That's the season where man couldn't even get shot against. Forget goals. They couldn't even get shots against Arsenal 2 years ago. I love that setup. And I'm saying Liverpool have got the best keeper in the league, the best defender in the league, the best right winger in the league, maybe the best 10 in the league, right? But as a defensive unit, I think Mars Lewis-Skelly, Duran Timber, Raya in goal, Saliba, Gabriel, and Rice in front, as a 6, if you like, that's better than what Liverpool have got. That's better than what Liverpool have got. And I just think the thing I love about Declan Rice is he's the lawnmower, right? I'm calling him the lawnmower, right? He gets across the grass so well, so consistently. And I just think if you put him back into that role and say, Declan, I know you want to get on the ball and go forward because you can. I know you can do that. But what we might have to do is sacrifice Declan Rice scoring 4 or 5 goals less, but we can see 10, 11 goals less as well. And just say, just sit. No one can get past you, Declan. And then they've got to deal with those 2 goons. And then they've got to get past David Raya. I would personally like to see Declan Rice in that 6 role, just being the protector. Because no one gets past him. And Zubamendi is the guy on the ball to kind of like get things cracking. I don't know what you guys think. It does mean losing some goals from Declan Rice because he won't get in the box that often. But I would rather sacrifice those goals that he may get for us.
I'm trying to get 25 goals from Gyökeres.
Sorry, what?
I'm trying to get 25 goals from
and I think less is more.
That's what I want. So I don't care about sacrificing of Rice's goals as long as the attack starts working better than it has.
I think Declan will get goals. I still think he'll get goals.
Oh, he'll get goals, but I think if you make him sit and just say, "Look, Declan, no one get those 2 goons behind you. No one gets to those 2 goons."
I think less is more. I think sometimes the reason we struggle to play through teams because we're congesting the space ourselves. Like then I think Declan Rice is also standing like really high up the pitch. And it's like let's all step 5-10 yards back. Let's look forward rather than having the back to goal the whole time. And then let's see if there's a little bit more space for Martinelli to pick up a little bit more central, something like that. Just mix it up. I completely agree. It's why I like Calafiori. Lewis-Skelly's our best left back, but Calafiori has that more maverick kind of nature to him. That little bit more like, I'm going to sort of dart past a player out of nowhere, player 1-2, drive into space. And I think we can mix that up a little bit. Lewis-Skelly can invert. Calafiori can bomb up and down, although I think he looks good as a centre-back too. This is what I mean. We have different options. I also wanted to praise, by the way, Christian Mosquera. I think he's looking good. Every time I see him coming on, he looks a very, very neat player. I like him a lot. I like him a lot.
Looks a player.
The Gazelle.
I think so.
The Gazelle. Love him.
Looks a player. I think probably like Kivio's going to go.
If Kivio goes, we need to replace him though.
But I think the emergence of him has probably maybe even accelerated that. If I'll be honest, like. I think Calafiori will do that. I think Calafiori's. Yeah. I think. Don't underestimate on Calafiori. If he stays fit, he's a bloody good player.
Yeah, but I'm not hearing staying fit being a reason this season, though. So we need to protect what we've got in terms of again, Trossard and Kivio need to stay at this football club. Full stop. regardless of the money we
Yeah.
can recoup for them. We can't
I
replace.
just think they recoup a little bit, Turkish. I really do. I think they look at it and just think, we've got enough over there. I think Calafiori, gets a little bit underlooked with because I just think it's those injuries. If he stays fit, I thought he was really, really good yesterday, and he gives us something different. And maybe Miles, maybe gives him a different position as well. I'm not saying that he's set in stone in his left back position. I don't. I think if you get him driving from midfield as well, possibly like another option, And I do agree with the Declan Rice. I think Declan Rice coming onto in a phase of play when instead of being there, he arrives in there, and gives us another option,
I think your Calafiori point is important. I said last season, I don't want to see him at left back because him at left back falls into he can do a job there. I don't think we can get away with that this season. He's not a left back. He's a left centre back. I reluctantly would let Kivior go. I rate Kivior as a squad player highly. I think Kivior probably is the best squad player we have in the whole squad in terms of he's the epitome of a squad man. I'm not good enough to start every single game at a top club, but when I do come in, more often than not, I deliver and I uphold the standard. So I'd want to keep him, but I understand that he wants to play first team football somewhere else because he can. Fair enough. So I'd reluctantly let Kivior go, and I would then make Calafiori the cover for Gabriel on the left.
Yeah, but are you saying the only reason you're saying this is because he wants minutes? Because I don't give a shit.
Well, to be honest, if he's not kind of banging down the door and saying I want to go, then I wouldn't be looking for a club for him. I wouldn't be trying to sell him.
Because it's been 6 in, 5 out since the end of last season, right? And his squad numbers and depth was such a problem last season. How are we now going to sell a couple more, right? Or whatever it's going to be over the next week? Surely that means our squad is still light like it was last year, and that's the words our manager used. So we're in a place where I don't really understand that. Lokonga, Vieira, Nelson, these I understand because they wasn't on the books last year. But I'd Kivior and Trossard, I'd put them both in terms of best squad player in my opinion. I don't think you could do.
Yeah. I just think Kivior wants game time. He's not going to be promised it at Arsenal. I think he's at that stage of his career where he's had a couple of years here. He's now got to the stage where he wants to go on, and I can understand it from his point of view. I really can, you know what I mean. And if you be really honest about it, if Gabriel stays fit, you ain't going to get many games. You know what I mean? You might 4 or 5, 6 or 7.
But Lee, this is the point. He should. You're right. I get what you're saying, but there should be games where even if Gabriel's fit, don't play him. There should be enough games across 4 competitions where, like Gabriel, I know you're fit, but there's a Carling Cup game. Come out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Final mention. He didn't come on for 1 second against Bilbao, but I thought he was very good against Villarreal.
Personal from his point of view. I understand it.
I liked him.
Understand
I
it
thought he
if he
did
wants
well.
to leave.
He was very, very good. Can I just mention as well, because we'll probably focus more on Man United on the next pod, but Mars Lewis Skelly, I'm really interested to see how he does this season because he's clearly ahead of schedule. England call up. He's Arsenal's left back now. The second season is going to be harder than the first, and I'm really interested to see how he handles himself. He's a very confident boy. And I think we all know and have spoken about the kind of people that are around him that will keep him grounded and keep him focused and keep him ambitious. But I'm really looking to see how he deals with this second season because he's still young. In an ideal world, he'd still be coming in and out of the squad.
Yeah,
because you have a fixed choice left back, whereas he's our starting left back now. And I think it's really important that he recognizes people are going to mark him in terms of he's a marked man. They'll be trying to wind him up. They'll be trying to, get at him. He's got to keep his composure, keep his cool, and focus on just getting better and better and better. So I think it's a big season, a really big year for Mars Lewis Skelly. I'm just keen to see how he deals with year 2. I think I've said before, I think the way he plays We will concede quite a few goals with him giving the ball away, but I think overall he'll score us more goals with how he plays than he loses us. What he does is very risk reward, and a couple of times a season he will concede us goals and get sent off. But I think he'll win us more goals in games than he loses us. So yeah, I just thought I would mention him because it's a big year for him.
Yeah, I agree. Norgard played well. Lewis Skelly, big year. Ethan contract as well. I think it's a big year for him as well.
Yeah.
And good luck to him. I liked how he talked about the front 5 positions and being open to all of them. That included the 8 as well. And hopefully we do see him utilized a bit more, and we open up a bit more with our attacking philosophy. As much as I still feel like we're a couple of players short in the window, we have got a couple of decent young players that I don't want to rely on, but we can play with in terms of how you manipulate the formation or manipulate that final third. So yeah, there's a few good points there, Lee.
Yeah, just was we a little bit surprised Max Dowman was left out?
No, I liked it. Too much hype already. So relax a bit, take it easy, and then on to the next one.
Sorry, I know you're gonna move on, Turkish, but on Max Dowman. So I've not spoken about Max Dowman. So the kid's a problem, right? The kid clearly is a madness, right? He's got this kid. If all goes well, we could be talking. I won't even name names, but the kid's a problem. And I've heard the discussion. I've plugged back into a bit of content and podcasts the last week or so, and I've heard the discussion around, if you're old enough, sorry, if you're good enough, you're old enough, versus player protection. He's a young guy, and I've always, guys, been on the side of I think 15 is just too young to be having men's football and playing someone at that level, at that age. In that environment, I've always just thought he's a 15-year-old boy, talented, crazy, of course, but he's a boy. I didn't agree with playing Ethan Ranieri at 15, but it is what it is. I've kind of now come to the other side of that discussion, whereby you have to protect a 15-year-old boy, but also you have to respect talent, and you have to have a pathway whereby talent earns a place. Right, and I know it's warped a little bit because there's the age, right? But I don't think he's worthy of starting for Arsenal, and arguably even being in the squad at this stage. There's a lot of people in front of him, a lot of traffic in front of him. But I'm less on the kind of, no, he shouldn't play at 15. He shouldn't just, whatever. I'm less on that train, and I'm slightly more on the whole. If he carries on the way he's going, and Martin Odegaard doesn't improve on last season, no player, captain or 15-year-old, it should be exempt from the same level of judgment as everybody else. If you're good enough to play and you're doing the work in training, you have to hand him with kid gloves to a certain degree. But me and James had a bit of a discussion last year about Nwaneri, right? There was a game when Nwaneri played where you lot said he was not great but didn't criticize him. And I was saying, I don't care how old he is. He was shit. He wasn't very, very good. So that's kind of my thinking here. If you're going to be in the big boys league, you should be treated like a big boy, good and bad. So if he warrants a place in the 11...
But that is the point, though, because even though you're saying Dowman more game time, you've given an example of yourself of a player a couple of years older playing, and then you calling him shit. But the reality is the club shouldn't be putting these teenagers in a position of reliance. I think
it was one game. It was just one game.
It was one game. Yeah. But I mean, like, especially when I was young, I'd deal with things a lot more erratically when I was young than I would when I was even a bit older, and especially older now. So, even judgment, if I'm 15, 16, 17, and that's me, I'm looking at myself, and all eyes, all opinions, judgment, left, right, and center. I'm dealing with things a bit differently than if I was 21, 22, let alone 26, 27. So I feel like this is where the balance comes in to protect, in my opinion.
Of course, I agree.
And not only that, physically as well. I mean, we saw Wilshere physically, get torn apart because of the game time we give him over a year and a half, his introduction as well. So I think there's a balance mentally and physically that, especially where we're at, 21 years no league, 7 years be excited, 6 years trust the process, phase 6 point whatever. Like, we are in a position now where if shit's hitting the fan in the season and Dowman comes on and excites a little, all of a sudden the pressure on him just turns up because the expectations of
goes through the roof.
Like the expectation of Arteta
You're right.
is to
You are right.
how much pressure's on him. You know, because all that pressure seeps through because we haven't won a major in so many years. So that's what I'm trying to avoid happening.
No, I'm with you. And if we never, just my final point, if we never saw Dalman again this season and he went away on loan or went away in development, saw him again next season, that wouldn't upset me either. My other reason, just quickly, for not wanting to play him was because I was of the mindset that a lot of young players that bust through early tend to peak early and end their careers early, right? Because they've been playing since they was 15, 16, 17, 18. There's examples of that we know. Wayne Rooney, Michael Owen, rare. But then my counter to that was, well, if that Max Dalman has a good 13, 14-year career and has to retire at 29 because he's burnt out, so what? If you've had a 15-year career, it just happened to start earlier, is that a reason to not play somebody? If somebody burns out at 29 as opposed to finishing at 34,
there's examples of burnout 2 years though. Wilshere was burnout a year and a half.
Injuries.
Maybe Bojan is another example. There's many young players over the years that after a couple of years of being exposed early on,
you've got to have a little bit of luck with injuries. I think injuries, you know, Jack Wilshere, the way he played also encouraged injuries. I think if you spoke to himself, you know what I mean? Like, you know, but players do that, like, you know. I think you made a great point to it. I think if Arsenal want to playing really, really well, that's the time to keep him developing and playing him. If we're on a 10-game unbeaten run and things like that, if we're not.
But guys, can I put another scenario out to you? Yeah? Mikel Arteta under immense pressure. Arsenal Football Club under immense pressure.
A couple of years more developed.
They need to win football matches. To do that, they're probably going to turn to the players they think are most likely going to do that. What's scary is Max Dalman might be the answer more than other players. He might fundamentally play because when Arteta looks at his bench to make a difference, because the game's not going our way, he might genuinely believe Max Dalman's going to have that impact more than others. It might honestly come down to that. I need to win football matches. I'm more likely to do that with Dalman on the pitch than Trossard. I don't know. Or Martinelli. It might genuinely come to that. And I say all that in praise of what? Do you think if they're both on the bench, Arteta might turn to Dalman first?
Did you say Martinelli?
No. Yeah, I'm saying, you know, he might, and because in pre-season.
Oh, sorry, I misheard you. I thought you were saying that Martinelli might be the guy that starts, wins.
You know, and it is pre-season, and there's so. And by the way, to be a good player, there's the mentality, there's the work rate, there's the tactical understanding, there's physically being able to do it again and again and again and again and again. There's so much that comes into it. On pure talent, he's unbelievable. And I just can so see us with 20 minutes to go, with struggling for a goal. He's already won 2 penalties in pre-season. I can see Mikel going, oh my God, like you might actually be more likely to do it than someone else. I'm going to chuck you in. I'm not saying that's right. I just think it might come down to that.
Totally agree. Yeah.
And Mikel's job is on the line of some of these decisions then, because that wouldn't be a good place to be. We already found out last year with Lewis Skelly, the way he took his position, and Ranieri. By Real Madrid PSG, we was all crying out for Ranieri to get more minutes. That was the opposite of what we should have been doing when I said at the start of the season, don't rely on these teenagers. But in the end, we got to that position where, and for example, Lewis Skelly against PSG, the criticism he faced because, you know, we was opened up on his side or mistake or whatever it was. Sometimes, you know, as a club, we've got, you know, we're going for the major honours, and I haven't seen teams do many teenagers in the side. I know Barcelona last year, probably the latest and best example of it. They had a couple teenagers in their side, but it's not common in football. So I just feel like protection is key. But I agree with James when you're looking at pre-season and looking at who can make a difference.
Congrats
is
to
one
him,
of
though.
the,
Like
the
we say,
names that are higher
I
up
say
the
all
list for
this
sure, if
is
not the highest on the list.
in
So
praise of him.
it's just a
Like,
juggle
I mean,
of
we
just
can
mad.
break down
It's
whether
mad.
that's a problem, and we've highlighted a little bit of, you know, what that means for the squad building, whether Arsenal should be doing more and should we be relying on him. But
100%.
to just give him full credit, I don't really know how else to say it other than you might genuinely force your way in that team. You're that good.
Is he more central than wide? Is that right?
Yeah, he's never played wide in his life until this pre-season.
So I think I'm right in saying that if Max Dallman is an option to play games this season, that means our captain must be really playing poorly.
Well, yeah.
No, I think he's going to be playing wide for the first couple of seasons just because physically it's going to be tough in the middle.
I want
But
everyone
listen,
under pressure.
Odegaard, I mean, he could be under pressure for him. He certainly will be in a year's time, 2 years' time. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
He's the best kid I've seen since Fabregas. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's a fact. So what's a lot? Wiltshire was fantastic.
I want everyone under pressure. I want Saka going, Bauman looks good.
Was at 18.
I want Gyökeres going,
Havertz,
Havertz, that was a
the
good
best I've
finish.
seen since
I want
Fabregas.
Odegaard going, Waneri's just signed a new contract. Look at that goal he just scored. I want Saliba going, that mascara looks quite good. Gabriel going, Kivior looked great when I was out. They didn't miss me as much. Raya going, what, the number 2's actually a number 1 from last season.
Yeah.
I want all of them under immense pressure.
James, you're so right. James, you're so right, because all I hear is Mikel's got to do it this year. Mikel's got to do it this year. Mikel's got to, and that might actually be true. Maybe this is the year where he's got to deliver a major. I'm not necessarily against that statement, but if that's the energy for Mikel Arteta, every single Arsenal player needs to be under the same pressure. And I'm talking
100%.
about Saka. I'm talking about Rice. I'm talking about no one gets a pass. I'm looking at players that are talented, but I'm questioning, are you the guy? Are you the guy isn't doubting your ability? Are you the guy can you get us over the line to win a title? And that goes to Saka. That goes to Rice. That goes to Saliba. All the players that we revere and we rate highly. The question isn't so much, is this player an elite player anymore? The question now is, are you the guy? I'm looking at every single player in this squad and asking, are you the guy? And everyone can get it this year. So you're right, the pressure has to be applied. If we're going to give Arteta the heat that this is the year, then I'm sorry, that has to apply to every player as well. Every player, I don't care if you're Saka or if you're Dallman, has to be looked at as, are you the guy that in those crucial games can get the job done? It's got to be distributed evenly across everybody.
Jordan, let's live and let's learn, because look at what Wenger did to Fabregas. And in hindsight, we know Fabregas was the guy. But Wenger never gave him enough, and he ended up leaving and mentioning the things that, So we have a couple guys in the squad that we know are the guy. We know Saka's one of the guys. We know Saliba's one of the guys. We know Gabriel's one of the guys. Declan Rice, in my opinion, has
I don't know if
shown.
we do Turkish.
No, but I feel like it's that's why it ultimately comes down to Arteta. How have you built on top of what these players have also helped you build? How have you done that this summer? And the Madueke thing for me, I don't even want to get back into it right now, but it has to work. Whatever his plan is with Madueke, it has to work. But it ultimately comes down to him, because we could have bought an Eze instead of a Madueke, for example, when you look at the finances involved. And we all know that would have been better, or in all of our opinions. We're not, we're not managers, we're just fan supporters. But I feel like you're right. The players are under pressure to deliver.
I just want to stress, when I use the words immense pressure,
falls on Mikel Arteta after
another
another
year.
year
Saying,
like
spending
well, I think we need to get over the line now.
But I'm just saying, I don't want any player feeling like their position is safe. To a degree, comfort is good and familiarity is good and confidence, knowing you're the guy. But a lot of them know that. A lot of them know that they got their place for at least the first 10 games of the season. But I like them knowing that there's other great players that can play in their position. And I think that...
And that's, James, that's a great point. There is that thing where there's probably 8 or 9 players are going to start and they're going to be the team. But what you can't have is performances like Odegaard last season, playing 10, 15, 20 games like that and nothing. That is not the case. 1 or 2 games like that and you are gone. And if you're not gone, then it's on Mikel. Right? That's the difference that we're going to have.
And Gyökeres, for me, he can be that guy. Bangs game week 1, we win the game. He can be that guy that the players start looking at and saying, that's the guy that's going to get us over the line in terms of what we've missed the last couple of years. He can still do that. Even that signing alone could pull something like that off in terms of what it can bring if he hits the ground running. But I still feel like we're a couple players short. Hence why we're going to get another show in a few days, before the season really comes closer. But I think we've covered everything we need to cover for now. Like I said, the transfer stuff is mute at the moment.
Looking forward though, so I think on the next pod, are we doing like our previews, top fours?
Yeah.
And I noticed you guys all ignored my suggestion in the WhatsApp group that we all come to the next pod with 3 suggestions or 3 non-negotiables that Arsenal need to come with to win the league.
I didn't see that.
Suggestion. All 3 of us come with 3 things that we.
So I
think
deleted
Arsenal
your number, John.
has to
Yeah, no
happen
worries.
to win this league.
Fair enough.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't even see that message, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good. It's all good.
Who's it from?
It happens. People, you know what it is already. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Final one standard Williams Hills free to play game where you can win up to 500k. The link is in the description. The QR code's been on the screen. We're going to be involved. Next show, we'll pick our teams. We'll make our predictions, season predictions, a few non-negotiables there from Jordan, and we'll keep it ticking again. So make sure you support as you have done over the last few years. The love for Fourever is always mad. It's always number one on this channel. So let's make sure that continues this season, people. And hopefully we've got a couple of surprises up our sleeves on our end as well for the community. Hopefully we can get that finally sorted, whether it's a live show, meet and greets, whatever it is. We do need to give back. But yeah, individual channels, you should already know. If you don't know, I'm not about to go through it. You'll find out next show. You can find out if you watch the last show. Love for the love, people. We'll see you again real soon. Lee, enjoy the rest of your night. I know it's late over there.
Yeah.
Love as always. And people, love. See you soon. Peace.